CyberTruck is dead. Long live the CyberTruck plus plus. I guess. How's everybody doing? Thumb me up if'ns y'kins hears me. Tell me what's going on out there in Chitty Chat land. Hi guys. Quick thank you. He's in the chat even. Stevie Z. Thank you. My newest Patreon. Your help and support is appreciated. Kind of a new fun format this week. You are watching the extended version right now. There will also be a recapped, summarized, shorter version that'll be posted probably in the morning. And whichever one you're watching now will be on the screen. So if you want to watch just the summarized version and you're watching this later, there'll be a link in the description. And if you're watching the other version, there'll be a link for that. I know, right? Okay. So before we get into the news of the Cybertruck, Rivian had their delay. Now, for those who don't recall, this was supposed to be the year of the electric pickup. Bollinger, Lordstown, who? The Hummer, the F-150 Lightning, and the Cybertruck. Those were all supposed to be around now-ish. And it looks like, kind of, none of them are. Rivian shipped a few to employees, apparently. And then with just a few days to go before deliveries were actually scheduled, well, they got pushed out to next year. Some as little as March and April, others as late as October 21st of 2021, or sorry, to April of 2022. But I've seen others in August and September. So there's some delays. Now there's also a rumor that the F-150 is having its delays as well, but no, it's not, definitely not. And then this, oh no, it's delayed. It was supposed to be scheduling around October, now it's delayed. And then the latest word, this was updated. Unfortunately, deliveries have slipped. Spring estimate to now September. Well, spring is kind of like September. I mean, they both touch Q3, sort of. In any case, all that money that Ford has spent promoting the heck out of this car seems to have been a bit premature. It feels more like greenwashing their reputation rather than actually doing anything. But it was today's news that got me. Whole Mars catalog. Omar is reporting, rumor has it the Cybertruck no longer configurable on the Tesla site because they're debating getting rid of the single motor version and having only 2, 3, and 4 motor variants. To which Elon said, initial production will be the 4 motor variant with independent ultra-fast response torque control of each wheel. Well, yeah, we know how torque control works. We know how good the control is on an electric motor, let alone a Tesla. They will have both front and rear wheel steer. So not just like a tank, it can drive diagonally like a crab. So the diagonal is nice, but also this really, really cuts down on the turning radius. Is there anything else on there? So jumping over to the good old configurator. Yeah, there's no Cybertruck here. There's no Cybertruck. You cannot order one today. Not of any kind. Not of anything. They will not take your $100. So let's talk real quick about what this means. To me, this means there's not going to be a single motor. Not initially, at least. And it means that the 39.9 promise is looking pretty unlikely. So we're going to do some math in just a minute. But first, let's go ahead and look at Tesla's history of missing on price targets. So when the Roadster was unveiled, mid-2007, for $80,000 to $120,000. $80,000 for the Roadster. A lot of people were very excited about that. And I don't remember which documentary it was in. There's footage of the meeting with owners who'd pre-registered or paid or put an awful lot of money in, absolutely losing their minds when they found out that 80 wasn't going to happen. Well, yeah, it came out 109 to 170 was what they actually cost. 109 to 170. 2006, let's talk about the roadmap. I can say the second model will be a sporty four-door family car at roughly half of the $89,000 price point of the Roadster. So even in 2006, August of 2006, it was still going to be $89,000, and it came out to $109,000. And so, talking about the future of cars, he said, the Model 2, that sounds familiar. This was going to be the Model S. Will be close to mass market with a price around $45,000 to $50,000. So he genuinely thought the Model S was going to be $45,000 to $50,000. Model 3 will be even lower cost and definitely affordable by the average American. So yeah, and then even here we are, when the first look of the Model S, when it was unveiled, looking at a retail of $57,400, with the tax credit bringing it under $50,000. Boy, that would have been tight. That would have been tight. You can, by the way, now buy that car, in some cases, for less than $50,000, all these years later. The Model S, though, did eventually come down in price from the very high introductions, coming out at $70,000 and then dropping back down in the $66,000 to $71,000 range for the S60 and N60 dual motor. So that's, not bad, I guess. And then even very recently, the price came down to $69,420, shortly before the refresh, because, a lot of premium buyers were waiting for it, and they had the margin, so why not make it the sexiest number of all? Model X can be yours for just $80,000. How many people who got one for $80,000? So when it came out, not even close, 90. And it up to 120. And you've seen a lot of people who paid over 120. And then, of course, the Model 3, the promised $35,000 car. How many people who got a $35,000 one? They did exist. You could get them off menu for a time. But how rare were they? I can't speak for the US, but in Canada, we know that... Oh, I had it highlighted. Where did it go? I'll get it. From May of 19 to March of 20, just 126 standard range Model 3s were sold, about 1% of deliveries. So that 35,000 didn't really happen. The Model Y, 47. Now bear in mind, this is a car that Sandy Munro said would be cheaper to build, is cheaper to build than the Model 3. We'll see. Model Y base price breaks $60,000. More, well, it says more than the original Model S. I didn't see many Model S's in that range. A few, I guess. And so here's a complicated chart that shows a bunch of the prices that we're going to be talking about momentarily in the breakdown. So what are we talking about here? Well, when the CyberTruck was first unveiled, it was announced that they were going to start by delivering the single motor, the short range, the slow boy. But once orders picked up, they realized, I guess we'll go for the bigger one. So we've got some takeaways on that. But first, let's do some math, huh? Do some math. Here we've got, that's pretty. Here we've got some numbers. The Roadster was supposed to be $80,000, was announced 11% higher than that, and released significantly higher still, with an actual price closer to $123,000. So from the announcement, it's up 40%. 38% is quite a jump. The Model S did better, although 44.5, that never happened. But it ended up 6% cheaper than the launch price at one point. That's pretty good. The Model X did even better, eventually 2% lower than its introduction price, and pretty close, only 10% off its launch and planned price, its announced and planned prices. Now the Model 3, $35,000, announced at $35,000. I'm going to say it was never released at $35,000 because it was so difficult to get. And then it jumped to $39,900. I'm calling that the actual price. Certainly not the price today, but that has more to do with other manufacturers faltering, the chip shortage, supply constraints, all that, and the rampant demand. There are a lot of people who got an SR Plus for $39,990. An awful lot. Model Y announced at $42,000, actually sold at $42,000. It's, most people were more in the $49,000 range by the time they were actually able to take deliveries. And of course, it's now over $60,000. But that leads us to the Cybertruck. What's going to happen? Is the single motor Cybertruck dead? I'm going to say it's not. But the $39,900 Cybertruck is absolutely dead. It is absolutely not going to happen for a bunch of reasons. The biggest one is it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. So, late breaking news right before I went on. Sawyer Merritt, okay. Now that Elon has shared it, I'm told Tesla is planning to have a quad motor and dual motor lineup, at least initially. No single, no tri-motor. So, I don't know how many of the million-plus reservations will opt for the 4 or 2 motor models, but I'm going to guess an awful lot. And I'm going to guess that by the time that $39,900 single motor version comes out, inflation alone will have made it an absolutely impossible prospect. There ain't going to be, in my opinion, a $39,900. It'll be very profitable when it does come out, at whatever price it does, but I just don't think it's going to happen ever. Real quick, in terms of Cybertruck hype, looking at the shop, best sellers, CyberQuad for kids, and the CyberWhistle. What do those have in common? They're both out of stock. They sold out within hours each. The thirst for anything Cybertruck related is amazing. It is so intense. But as for the $39,900, look at these cars. Look at the size difference. This is a $45,000 car. This is a $60,000 car. You're telling me this is going to be $40,000? With more space, more material, more batteries? That's not going to be a $39,900 car. It's just not. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10, it'll be a great value for fleets, for humble folk like myself. But I don't know, man. I don't see a reason to sell it for $40,000. So what are the takeaways from this? Well, one is batteries and motors are less of a constraint than everything else. The self-driving hardware, the microcontrollers, the little chips, it sounds to me like, are in shorter supply. Because a quad motor with a giant battery could easily be a single motor times 4. But more realistically, 2 or 3. You could probably get 2 or 3 CyberTrucks base models out of the batteries and motors that go into the quad motor. It's just, the good news is, it sounds like they're going to have enough batteries. And as an investor, I'm very excited because these are all going to be ridiculously high margin vehicles. But man, the idea of getting a $39,900 Cybertruck, especially if it came with the tax credit, boy, that was going to be exciting. So, if you got questions, now's the time to ask them. I do want to give a quick shout out and thanks to all the Patreons who get early access, bonus content, and ad-free experience, and to help keep the channel running for as little as $1 a month. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm going to put on some B-roll and get into the questions. Let's see what we got. Hopefully nobody's going to make me regret this. Yeah, I see some good comments already. Okay. When is Bear going to do a flyover of the Blue Oval factory? Unless it's in Arizona, I don't think that's going to happen. Is it in Arizona? Did somebody hear that? Then I didn't. Left wheel, right, and right wheel, left. Okay. The CyberTruck is in the submenu. Is it? Is it? Let's take a look. The submenu. Oh-ho! Oh-ho! You see, that's why you guys are so important. Let's make sure it works. Okay. So that's, I'm going to be honest, that is encouraging. That is encouraging news. That makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, thank you, Rob. Thank you, David. Philip, we were both mistaken. Powerwall was supposed to be 3,500. Now it's almost 3 times that. That one surprises me, Bill. I was just sure that starting at 3,500, it would certainly come down from there, but it hasn't. Quite the opposite. Yeah, bizarre. Just sent out more stimulus checks so we can afford a CyberTruck. Who got a stimulus check? I'll check my mailbox. I'll check my spam folder. Oh, look, I've got all kinds of offers from Nigerian princes and Amazon refunds. Amazing. Yes. So, Gooch Booch, I wasn't being hyperbolic. I wasn't lying. I was wrong. I was mistaken, and we have corrected that. Thank you for participating. The advantage, so before the stream started, we were talking in the chat about some of the advantages of the four-wheel steer. There is, of course, the crab walk, and there is the tight turning radius. And based on what we know of Tesla's control systems, it'll be very smart and well managed on its own without having to think about it, and probably something you can overcome or manually override should you like to, should you decide you want to do something more custom in an off-road environment. Elon won't let Rivian or Hummer undercut him on price. Maybe 4-drive Plaid will be $90K. Again, in the pre-show chat, we were thinking it's probably going to be more like 120, 130, because people will pay it. Considering the 1.5 million reservations, it could easily be 6 months or a year of quad motor exclusive sales during the ramp period before we get on to lower margin customers. Hello, Will. Jeff says we tend to buy them loaded. I assume you mean Teslas. Well, Teslas only come one way, really, loaded. The other day, for fun, I decided to dream and configure my absolute dream Tesla. And the difference between it and the cheapest one I could get that had enough seats was the cost of the paint. And personally, I prefer the silver, but the wife likes red or blue, so it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Might as well just start fitting me for my tux for Oscar night, because that's similarly likely in the short term. Can't wait to get quad for mine. I can't wait to see yours, Jeff. And go for a ride. You got to take me somewhere. I'll keep my 2-motor reservation. Yeah. Sounds like you are among the very few lucky people who actually get to keep your reservation for what you ordered. Price of steel has tripled in the last 2 years. That is a very good point. But that doesn't mean they need to eliminate the base model. But it does have a lot of steel, and with steel prices going up. Who is this says, I got me a whistle. I'm curious to hear what it sounds like. I imagine different. Yeah, especially no $39.9 if they stay back ordered for a year from orders. Yeah. Very tempted for the kids quad. Could bring myself to do it, though. Bear's Workshop ordered one. He got in quick enough. No paint, no body shop. Yeah. Once these are sorted out, once production is sorted out, these are going to come off the line faster than Jeeps. I am confident. Got a dual Breakneck Trent, got a dual and tri-reservation. 140K Tesla currently. Will I regret selling to get the quad motor? I think no. Impossible to say, really. Impossible to say. One of the only interviews I've ever done was a man named Millen from Tesla Taxis in Australia. And his company, when they bought their fleet of a handful, just a few Teslas, to rent out, they debated, should we get FSD or should we just take that same money and put it in the stock? They put it in the stock. So that worked out well for them. Okay, it'll be fun to have. Oh, awesome, Jeff. Please do come to the Northwest. Please bring it. I'd love to see it. I've only met, I think, one of my fans. Oh, I guess Bear's a fan, so I've met him too. One of my Patreons, Bruce Campbell, was close enough to meet for coffee, and that was fun. That was interesting. Does not have the resemblance to the actor that I was hoping for, but much more handsome in his own way. The quad motor, Todd says the quad will need to be $20,000 more than the tri-motor. $130,000 would be unfair and a stupid price. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Model Y going from $47,000 to $60,000 is unfair. But I get it. Dropping the price will not increase sales. It'll just increase the wait time, which is frustrating in a different way. And these ridiculous premium prices are paying for the construction of new factories. So what do I think will change about the range? Almost nothing is my guess, unless there's been some kind of substantial change in the performance of the 4680s, which I do not believe is the case. Supply and command. Well said. Voodoo Doughnuts. Is that in Portland? I haven't been there. I've been to, what's the donut place in San Diego that's so famous? In the Northwest, we have Legendary Donuts, which are quite good, but there's only maybe 4 or 5 locations. Got to meet the owner. Really neat people. Or ordered a dual motor. Is that it? Oh, well, Todd ordered a dual motor. Fewer chats than I was expecting if there's anything else. Over 85K is rich. Most buyers want under 60K. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Thoughts on the CyberTruck doubling as a boat? There's rumors, man. And I think with minimal retrofitting, you could do something that would make it work. Hoping for a 500-mile dual motor option. I'm hoping for eventually a 500-mile single motor option. I don't need all-wheel drive. It doesn't. We get 3 days of snow, maybe. Bad years, it's more like 6. I just don't need extra traction or extra speed. And I know that the motors are unlikely to wear out, but they can. I mean, they will if you keep the car long enough. And they can wear out. And as I was saying in the pre-chat, the best extra part is no extra part. Rich is a matter of perspective. It is. It is. I am the poorest rich person I know, or the richest poor person, because all my money tied up in my retirement and my house, which makes me, I can't sell my Tesla to buy a Tesla, not without substantial penalties. Is Elon sandbagging the Cybertruck production, specs, and features? Specs and features, if so, it would just be by a hair. Teslas usually come out real close on the numbers. And if there's room to improve, they release it later over the air. But production, my gosh, I hope so. If 12.9 is a real thing and not just a conspiracy fever dream, I'd really like to hear something. Trevor is hoping for 0-point turns. At 71, it will outlast me, says Mark. I mean, that is fair. Steve Easy says, want to see more of the tech bandwagon. So for those who didn't catch the tweet, Elon has said that we're going to be kind of blown away by the Cybertruck. Cybertruck production beginning end of 2022, beginning or end of 2022. Middle is my guess. I don't think beginning because the factory's just not going to be done. The Model Y portions will be done. The rest of it, less so. What do I think happens December 9th? I hope something, but I'm confident the original plan for December 9th was nothing. And that the only reason there would be a December 9th is because Elon loves the memes and he would gladly give us something just to reward the meme folk. You can't sandbag something that is already late. Yeah, it's not that much late. Certainly not later than the competition. But I assume who is this that they were meaning is he sandbagging the most recent guidance. But he did say there would be a product roadmap update on the next shareholder call, the next earnings call, which is expected, I think, what is it, January 9th? January 29th? It's not 12/9, I'll tell you that. The steel mill is also not ready yet. It's close. It's close. I think that is also... Joe Tetmeyer has done one drone flyover of it, and I believe the last news I heard still said spring of 2022, which would mean unless they're sourcing stainless from somewhere else for the launch, don't know why they would, that is the earliest they could possibly start configuring the line in any serious way, let alone ramping. Rivian 400 miles of range equals 90 grand. LOL. Also, apparently it weighs 7,100 pounds. So that's why the Cybertruck's entire first principles design of starting from scratch was so critical. Because just jamming batteries into the existing frame design is heavy. Tesla robot, 5 cents a mile. Yeah. I don't remember. Did I make a recent video about that? Or did I just start it? I think I just scripted it. Yeah. My brain gets a little fried when I do the live streams. Do you think the bot will be made in Austin? I think it's too early to know. But I think the bot is critical to any attempt to get humans to Mars. Because they're going to need infrastructure when they get there, and they can't bring it with them. But the bots can build it. We shall see. Gonna be fun when they start emerging from Gigafactory, Texas. Yes, it will. Yeah, Jeff Songster. Rivian has a 4.5-foot bed. Yeah, it's a tiny, very heavy truck. Useless. You can fit your camping supplies in there. And that's who I think it's aimed at. But I'm not going to criticize Rivian for their design. It's innovative. I like it. It's appealing to some. And it has its place in the market. And if it works, it will afford them the opportunity to live to fight another day. I bet 12/9 Elon will announce Gigafactory Texas Festival. Oh, I hope so. It's going to be the hottest ticket in town, and I am deeply concerned I won't be able to get one. But if I have to fly down there and stand on the corner looking sad with a sign that says, got a +1? Anybody got a +1? I will do it. If I have to cover it from outside or from the after party, I will do it. Because I can draw the floor plan of that place with my eyes closed. It'll be a disaster. You wouldn't be able to recognize anything, but if I open my eyes, it'll actually look pretty good, pretty accurate. Because no one has followed that floor plan closer than me. Yes, so Todd, did I hear about the stainless steel company that is building a factory in Texas and maybe doing the CyberTruck unibody? It is Steel Dynamics, I believe is the name of the company. And they are halfway between Steel Dynamics, Texas. They are halfway between, is that it? Slap the word Tesla on there and see. They are halfway between Boca Chica and Austin. There we go. Steel Dynamics in Stinton. See if it's got a date. Yeah, so that's what the factory looked like in August. It ain't done. September, October, November. It ain't done. It ain't done. Well, in December. Well, 4 months. But it's going to get there. So, I hope that answers that question. Sold my Steel Dynamics stock. I've always wondered about diversifying upstream, but every time I've asked for advice, and I've asked my patrons for advice, the advice they give me is overwhelming in depth and quality to such a degree that I look at it and I just kind of glaze over. Okay. Breakneck Trent is getting a couple of CyberTrucks for mobile welding. Yeah. Because I love the people who look at Ford and say, wow, they've got outlets. This is innovative. Because the CyberTruck showed outlets first, so I don't know what you're talking about. Trevor asked if I have an email. I can send a couple of content ideas. It should be linked on my About page. And if not, get in touch with me on Twitter at 4K Podcast. You can reach me that way. I do have an email address, and I'm not afraid to give it to you guys, but saying it out loud kind of opens some doors. Mega Wilderness says there are no extra parts. The back front uses the same castings and motors. Yes, but a quad motor has more motors than a 2 or 1 motor, and the rear steer adds additional moving parts that, though unlikely to wear out, the best extra part is no extra part. Rivian's still pushing dirt around? LOL. I haven't seen Rivian's factory. Did you mean Lucid? Lucid is... I know Warren says that they're just pushing dirt, but they're not. They're not. Dual factory startup 12.9? Oh, that would be Christmas coming early, my friend. Where's the Nikola bagger? It's 404. Nikola who? Yeah. Any insight on 4680 production? Anything interesting you found while looking at the battery buildings in Shanghai, Berlin, or Austin? Curious how it's coming. So in Berlin, the roof is on. Equipment has not been seen. In Austin, the equipment is going in. And over a month ago, cathode line 1 equipment and anode line 1 equipment went in. That plant is being configured. The latest we heard is that the yield at Cato Road has doubled. I don't remember if it was yield or total output, but it has doubled. We don't know what percentage of that is, what percentage of total required output that represents, but we have heard that they are stockpiling 4680s to facilitate the Model Y launch in Texas before that cell production line comes online. Now, in Texas, there's a Project Bobcat area, which was supposed to begin construction quite a while ago. The land, it's over to the east of the power lines, and it's being used to store, right now, a bunch of steel. And that was steel I thought might be for the main building, but the main building's done. That's steel to build that building, which has been delayed. And the reason appears to be, when the Piedmont lithium deal fell through, there was no way to know which kind of lithium they would be refining. And different lithium deposits have different processing requirements, so it seems like their plan to refine from what they would get had to change. And so they're on hold, I think, until they secure their lithium supply. The Kandi K-32 truck. I have not seen it. What do I think of it? I like it. I like it. Their cars have gotten a lot better. They've gotten a lot better. I don't know how serious it is, but it's fine. It's fine. No factory until Austin and Germany are up and running, Elon said. Yes, no factory announcements, certainly no start to construction, but that doesn't mean they're not in the planning phases. They may, let me think. I think they will expand on or around, I would say, obviously Shanghai, that's already been approved. But I would say Texas next and Berlin once they get a little more serious about approving permits. Have I seen the Munro Nikola visit? Yes, I have. I've seen part 1, and today I saw part 2. Sandy is impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I still have very serious doubts about the hydrogen truck, but he drove the battery truck, and it seems to be what he expected, what he hoped it would be. I don't know what he expected, but he hoped it would be good. And like he said in the start of today's video, he's not there to analyze the company or the financials or the long-term prospects. He's there to evaluate the vehicle itself, and it is what he hoped. They may not need new factories, just new lines at existing ones. Yeah, and I think the Fremont factory might see some serious revisions once Austin is ramped. They can take a line or two offline. They can tear a building down or two and really rejuggle it. Yeah, it is hard to argue with Sandy. Okay, well, we're pretty far into this. Any last minute questions before we wrap it up? If you're watching this after the fact, on the condensed version or the regular version, you can always go back and watch the other one. But link in the description, of course. But of course, in the comments, I need you to let me know, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts and brilliance. Yeah, I think this is fun. I have fun with these. Don't know if you can tell, I adjusted my lighting a bit. Got rid of the squeaky chair. I still have it. It's over there. I'm sitting in a dining room chair. Let's see. When the CyberTruck first hits the road, they are going to rock the world of a lot of people. Favorite Spice Girl? I guess Scary, because she's been on British panel shows since then, and she's quite funny. The 129 earnings call. Thank you for the clarification on that, Will. Yes, thank you, Jeff, for being here. Hopefully, CyberTruck gets Starlink Wi-Fi. It won't. Starlink doesn't work that way. Yeah, this was fun, David. I'm glad you were here. Thank you for joining us. And awesome. Stay tuned. Stay juicy. Can't wait to hear from you, clever robots, on the flippity flop.